Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala sayyidil mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. Assalammualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And my name is Brother Pino, and today's video is about how I came to Islam. Now, alhamdulillah, it's one of the best things that ever happened to me, embracing Islam. But it was something that only happened to me 13 years ago. So I'll go right to the very beginning, and I'll go into detail how and where I embraced Islam. So I was born of Italian parents, and my parents moved from Italy to the UK in the late 60s due to the fact that there wasn't much work there. And so, of course, a short while down the line, my father had an accident, and after that my mother and my father split up and eventually got divorced. So my mum then was left to raise four of us on her own, but it was only until when we got to the ages of sort of 7 and 8 years old that my mum started taking us to church on a Sunday afternoon. Now, this was something that I actually hated. So me and my brother and my sister, we would muck around and give my mum problems on the way there, so she would smack us on the way there, and when we got to the church we would laugh and joke around and make fun of the priest, so my mum would smack us again. And then as soon as we walked out of the church, my mum would smack us again for embarrassing her, and then on the way home we'd muck around and cry and all the rest of it, and my mum would smack us again. And then it was only until when we got home and everything, as soon as we walked through the door, we got another smack. So because my mum was just so fed up with us, and it was just a tough day for her. So, you know, and this happened you know, many a times. We'd gone to church, and you know, my mum took us there, and we mucked about all the time. She could see we weren't serious, and it was hard for her to even study or anything like that. So in the end, once we reached our teens and everything, my mum stopped taking us to church. So, of course, being Italian, our first religion is, of course, Roman Catholic. But to be really honest with you, I didn't really study much upon the faith. It was something that I just, you know, went with the flow with my mum. You know, when there was a Christmas, we celebrated Christmas. When there was Easter, we celebrated Easter, but we didn't really know much about Jesus alayhi salam. But you know, once my mum stopped taking us, and this is when we got into our early teens, religion in the house was pretty much non-existent. None of us talked about religion at all. You know, yes, when Christmas came along, we celebrated Christmas. Easter came along, we celebrated Easter, but we wouldn't sit there together and read the Bible and things like that. No, it just never happened. Anyway, so moving along, once I got into my early 20s, I considered myself as a Roman Catholic. I hung around with the Italian guys and that, you know, my friends were all Italian, and they were more Roman Catholic than I could ever imagine. You know, every time they saw a church, they would always do all, you know, the 4 points, and they would tell me to do it, and I said, look, I don't feel like doing it, and stuff like that. And they'd wear lots of gold chains with all St. Christopher's and crucifixes, and you know, so a lot of Italians are really full on when it comes to their faith. So, you know, I got into my early 20s and stuff like that, and I was still living at home, and my mum started going out, and I said to my sister, I said, where's mum going out? She was always going out regularly, sort of once or twice a week, to meet her Italian friends. And my sister said to me, I think she's going to Bible studies. And I thought, alhamdulillah, you know, she's picked up the faith again, and she's, you know, she's getting back to her roots and all the rest of it. So, but then, you know, as time went by, my sister said to me, she goes, I think Mum is studying to become a Jehovah's Witness. And I was like, really? Okay, whatever makes her happy. Because up to that point, my mum had a lot of bad luck. You know, she had 2 failed marriages, and she remarried the 3rd time, which was pretty successful. And but the first 2 marriages, one with my father, and then she remarried again, which ended up in an absolute disaster. But so I guess that she maybe just gave up on being a Roman Catholic and wanted something else, something that would bring her, you know, better luck as such, or she wouldn't have so much misfortunes in her life. So once I heard that she was going to become a Jehovah's Witness, I thought to myself, well, okay, I can deal with that. And then my mum was coming home, and then she was trying to elaborate on what she'd been learning, and she was talking to us about Jehovah's Witness and things like that, and it was always at the dinner table, and it got to the point where every time we was having dinner, my mum was always preaching to us, and I think my mum wanted us to join the congregation, and it just didn't sit with me. And it was like going to church when we were young. I didn't feel comfortable sitting in the church. I didn't like, you know, the pictures on the wall and everything, and the statues and things like that. I just felt for me it was creepy. So got to the point I just said to my mum, please don't ram this down my throat. I really don't like it. And she got a little bit angry about it, but then I just made a really bold statement, and I just said to my mum one day, I said, do you know what? I'm going to become an atheist. I hope, inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives me for making that statement. But though I told my mum I was an atheist, inside I still believed there was a God. Alright? So my mum believed I was an atheist, but underneath I was really an agnostic. I believed there was a creator, but I just didn't have any guidance. So with that, my mum stopped preaching to us because she just knew it wasn't going to work, and I was still living at home, and then every Tuesday night my mum would hold the little, you know, the congress at her house, and at 7 o'clock on the nose they were around there. There was about 15-20 people coming round, and every time they'd come round, each and every one of them tried, you know, to convert me, and they were waving the Bible in, you know, in their hand, and they'd say, oh, Brother Pino, you know, do you have any direction in life? And I was just heading out the door, you know. I said, yeah, I've got direction in my life. I'm heading towards my car. I'm going into town. And I'd laugh and joke like that sort of thing. And it never went down very well. But hey, I was never going to become a Jehovah's Witness. It just, like I said, I wasn't ready for that. So, and there were also times when they came round and I just stayed in my bedroom until the last one had left, which was a couple of hours later. And it was a time for me where my mum took her religion very seriously, and I just made sure I wouldn't say anything to offend her. So of course, like in the early 2000s, I started to come to Australia, and mainly in Perth, Western Australia, and it was then I'd met my wife, who was from Indonesia, and then slowly I started, you know, getting to know her and everything, and then in the end I made the decision to move to Australia. My mum didn't like that, because I think she just knew that she wouldn't see me as often as she'd like to. So, but nevertheless, I wanted to get on with my life. I really liked the course, I wanted to, you know, spend a lot of time with her, and who knows, maybe the rest of my life. And shortly after being with her, she said to me, look, I'm from Indonesia. It's the biggest Muslim country in the world. You know, we practice Islam. You have to convert. So I gave it a little bit of a think and that, and looked into it, and I said, yeah. Mainly did it because, you know, I really loved, you know, the woman that I'd met. And so of course I thought, yeah, I'm going to do this. And when I looked into it, and after taking my Shahada, it was simple. There was no complications to it. You know, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. There's only one God worthy of worship, that is Allah, and his final messenger was Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It was easy. You had one God and his final messenger. So of course, now I converted to Islam. I've been a Muslim now for almost 12 to 13 years, and the last sort of 5-6 years I've been practicing. So reading the Quran as much as I can, pretty much every day. Reading hadiths, which is the accounts of what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said and did, noted down by his companions. And you know, just reading other books to do with Islam, reading about what other imams have did in the past, and how they do their speeches and things like that. So generally I stayed away from internet sites. Some of them are okay, and some of them are just bogus. Some of them just will do anything to deter you from becoming a Muslim, because of what the media portray Islam to be. Now, just a quick note on that. I'd like to tell the viewers at home that are watching this video, what you see on the TV about Islam, portrayed by the media, I can tell you now, that's not Islam. Unfortunately, it's totally the opposite. Now, I'm not very academic or anything like that, but I'm not stupid. At the same time, I made a really good decision in my life to embrace Islam, and it's been good to me ever since. It's never committed any harm to me. Islam does not condone any behaviour of taking the life of an innocent person. It doesn't even say that in the Quran. So Islam has been really good to me. It protects me from all the nasty things in society, like drinking, drug abuse, gambling, sexual immorality, and of course usury, interest, credit cards, mortgages, you know, and things like that. So those are just some of the things that Islam protects you from, and there's many things that Islam protects you from, and it's all to do with the true guidance. Now, after embracing Islam, I had to tell my mum this, and at the time I was going to tell my mum, I thought to myself, I already knew. I thought to myself, she's not going to take this very well. But I had to do it, and she had every right to know. And the first time I told her, she was like, "Oh, okay." And then, of course, over the years, you know, Islam was portrayed to be, you know, the dirt that you see in the garden and stuff, and what the media had put on the TV. So, of course, every time I phoned up my mum was a little bit concerned, thinking that, you know, I was going to get wrapped up in all that sort of, all the things that were portrayed on the TV. And I just said to my mum, no, it's not, you know. And so, of course, you know, time went on, and my mum obviously got used to the idea of me being a Muslim, but at the same time she was studying more about Jehovah's Witness, and she kind of challenged me one day, and we had a bit of a debate over the phone. Now, not to sound brash or big-headed or anything like that, I'm not blowing my own trumpet, but when my mum said all these things about Islam, somebody had told her these things, I refuted them quickly, in a matter of seconds. Told her that wasn't true, it whoever told you that is lying to you. And then I said to her, why are you becoming a Jehovah's, why are you being a Jehovah's Witness? You know, what is it going to do for you? And she told me she believed it was the truth. Okay, that's fair enough. But there were some things I questioned about her faith, and my mum couldn't answer it, and felt sorry for her, really. But anyway, yeah, I go to the mosque every day, and I meet up with a bunch of great brothers that are down there. We all get on very well. We get together on the Sundays, some of us, and play football. So you know, I'm in a good community, and thanks to Islam, of course. So this was my road to Islam, and you know what? Like I said right from the beginning of the video, it was the best thing that ever happened to me, and I wish I'd embraced it many years ago. But like Allah says, He guides who He pleases, and I truly believe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed me and guided me to Islam. There are others who won't come to Islam, and they will just never have the guidance. Now, for those of you who are watching this video at home and sitting there thinking to yourself, look, you know, if that guy can become a Muslim, and I want to become a Muslim, it's very simple. There's one thing I will say to you about Islam, is that we never push anybody into this deen. We don't. We give you the advice, which is free. We don't charge you. We don't dip you in a bath or anything like that. It's very simple. My advice is, read a little bit about Islam, get some proper genuine books, and read a little bit. Won't harm you to read a bit of the Quran, so you get an idea of the consistency of it. And then maybe visit your local mosque and ask to speak to the imam and say, look, you know, I'm thinking about embracing Islam, how do I go about it? And from there he will show you the ropes. Once you become a Muslim, alhamdulillah, you'll feel it's a really great feeling, and it's the best thing that you will do in your life. I can guarantee you. Now, people will be hostile to you, but they don't know nothing about Islam. I've spoken to many people in the past that have been, you know, Islamophobic, and I've questioned them. I said, why are you so scared about Islam? Oh, it's because of what I see on the TV. I'm absolutely frightened. But once you tell them, say, no, this is what our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what he was like. He was a humble, pious, truthful person. You know, he never hurt anybody. You know, what he did, he would take the shirt off his own back. He would give the last bit of food off his shelf to his guests, and the things he did. And he never gave up, and he was so humble. And most Muslims, we try and model ourselves on him. We don't worship him. We just follow his teachings. So, those of you who are thinking of becoming a Muslim, obviously give it some great thought and go down to the local mosque, or even you might even know some of your friends might be a Muslim and they can give you some advice. And once you take the Shahada, your past sins are all forgiven, and then you'll learn how to pray, read the Quran, you know, fulfill the 5 pillars of Islam. Of course, when Ramadan comes along, you'll have to fast. Now, I can tell you now, when I can remember the first day I did fasting. I'll just quickly tell you this. The first day I did fasting, I was into it 2 hours into the fasting, and my head started to hurt. And I said to my wife, how many more hours have I got to go? And she said, well, until sunset. And I thought, I can't make this. And many a times when I first started doing fasting, I had to break it by midday. It was terrible. I was on my hands and knees. But alhamdulillah, over the years I've got used to it, and now from time to time I fast on a Monday and a Thursday. No problems, alhamdulillah. So, and also it keeps the weight off from time to time. So, but you know, there's things like that to look forward to. Ramadan, you know, and read the Quran and learn how to read the surahs. There's so many things to do in Islam, and you eventually reinvent yourself. You'll learn how to, Islam will teach you how to control your temper, not to swear. If people are abusive to you, you learn to be humble and just let it go over your head and everything. So I can only encourage people that if they don't have a religion, seriously look at Islam first before you do anything else, and inshallah Allah will guide you. So that's my story in a nutshell, how I came to Islam. And like I said, I wish I'd embraced it many years ago, but alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been really kind to me, and I thank him every day, and at the same time I ask for forgiveness. So please, if you like my video, please subscribe below, and I will post many videos of some Dawah videos that I'm going to be doing in the near future. So please take a look at those, and if there's anything I can do for you, maybe drop a comment, or you can even email me, and I'm more than happy to reply to them. So until next time, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin.